Awesome. All right, guys, let's jump into it. Thank you so much for joining. Super excited for today. For those of you that are not familiar with me, my name is Navi. I am Monarch's better half. I am also the COO and co-founder of Mintbean, and super excited for everything that we're doing. And we released something new this week. It's called the Dev Collective. For those of you that have gotten our newsletter, may have heard it from our socials. It's sort of been operating in stealth mode for some time now. We sort of officially launched it back in January, but this is the official launch. And running the community, I think, for the last year has given us a lot of insights for what exactly are some of the blockers for devs who are trying to break into the industry, and and some of these blockers are very individual. Like someone can have it might be technical skills that are just not there yet, or it might just be the advocacy piece that's missing. It might be soft skills when it comes to, that first interview. It might be the interview process that like is where you're failing at, or it might be something else. And that's kind of like what we've been working with lots of developers. And the cool part of the Dev Collective is that it sort of speaks for itself. Like I said, that since we've been operating in stealth mode, we really wanted to make sure that it was perfected to land that first job in software development, and the results speak for themselves. We've had lots of developers who have who were looking for work for more than a year, and within 5 short weeks we've helped land them their first job in tech. So we're super proud of that accomplishment, and applications are now open. I do also want to mention that we are taking scholarships as well. So if if you are looking for work for more than 6 months and you're trying to break into the industry and you're not doing it successfully, fill out the application, reach out to me personally. I'll fast track you through the scholarship route. We'll get you an interview and work something out financially within your situation, and make sure that it's feasible for you. So I did want to mention that piece. So I'm super excited about that. Take a look at it at devcollective.io and look at the results. I'm excited about that. So this is what we're gonna talk about today. I've already discussed the Dev Collective, how if this learnathons are new to you, Mintbean is new to you, I'll sort of go over that. I do this every single week. So if you've heard the spiel, I apologize. And I also want to talk about what you get from submitting a Mintbean Learnathon project. Monarch will be introducing this week's prompt, and we'll open up the floor for Q&A, and then followed by a meet and greet on the voice channels over in Discord rooms. You've heard me, if you've been to these events before, how Mintbean helps. There's a lot of places. When we started this community, the conversation of community has been something that has been in our household for a very long time. I'm a bootcamp grad myself 4 years ago, and I had a really hard time at the technical interview. I have a business background, so it's really easy for me to, make sure that my resume looks a certain way, my LinkedIn looks a certain way. I'm a great storyteller, so it wasn't hard for me to connect with employers. But where I failed was that technical interview. I kept hearing it over and over again that, hey, you're not there yet. And it happened 4 or 5 times, to the point where I was like, maybe this is not for me. Maybe software development is not for me. Maybe I don't have the right aptitude, or this is too hard of a skill. And I think I was definitely fortunate, because at the same time Monarch was breaking out of sort of like the corporate land, or you had an architect, I think, job at that time, and he was creating his own firm, and there were so many opportunities there. So he was like, hey, you can come and join me as a freelance, and and it might help you advance your coding career. Or if you want to take up a technical project management piece, you can do that. And he didn't pay me anything. I didn't get a single dime for that. So I think, but I was lucky to get the experience. And I kind of ended up, because of my business background, I ended up going into day-to-day management and sort of also hiring lots of other developers in the firm. And I was very involved in the top of the funnel, where, let's say, whenever we had a role that was open for a developer, we would get thousands of resumes. And really my responsibility was to take those thousands of resumes and skim them down to 10 or 20, so that when I'm presenting those resumes to our tech team, I'm not wasting their time, because they were busy working on projects, and time is money for a service firm. So you want to make sure that your developers are constantly working on client work rather than hiring. So my job as someone who was on the hiring side was to make sure that I'm only presenting high quality talent to the dev team, and weeding out all the individuals with red flags. So this is sort of like where Mintbean learnathons fit in as well, because the strength of your portfolio as a new developer is immensely important. So the quantity and the visibility of it piece. And that's what the hackathon learnathon goals are, is to build your portfolio and to showcase and not to build these projects in silos, but we really teach you how to get creative with it. Like, how do you showcase your projects? What do those pillars look like? And of course, repeat. I've spoken to so many developers in the last 4 years, and even with this year running this community, when I hear that, hey, I'm having a hard time connecting with employers, the first place I look at, even before LinkedIn, Twitter, is the GitHub. And that really tells me a very solid story of why you're having a hard time connecting with employers. If you've just graduated from a boot camp and all I see is the pieces that you built inside the curriculum, they don't have as much substance, they don't have as much meat. So I'm not going to be looking at those portfolios. If there are gaps from when you're pushing, I'm going to question those gaps, especially if you're a new developer. So your GitHub, that calendar is way more important than anything else. So I want to kind of go back to the learnathons, and we've sort of iterated on the
Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. Do apologize. Just back in regards to GitHub, for just an understanding here. With someone who's starting out, if they're constantly with every little tiny project, every little tiny thing they're doing their coding, updating the GitHub, is that a thing, or is that too much? Or is there ever too much for GitHub?
Wasn't quite clear. Are you asking, is there such a thing as coding too much on GitHub?
No, too many commits to GitHub. If it looks too bad, have too many commits on GitHub.
Actually, do you mind typing your question? I think there might be a network issue on your
Sure.
end, and it's very choppy. So
okay.
Parts of your question.
I'll answer in writing as well. So Navi, you can continue. If anybody has questions about careers, etc. No problem at all. Any way we can help is great. If anybody has any more questions, drop them in text, and Navi can answer them towards the end of the hackathon, or I can answer them in real time as Navi speaking.
Yeah, no need to apologize. So if you have any questions, interrupting me is completely fine. Sometimes there might be something that I said that's unclear to everyone else. So if you have a question, it might help others as well. And yeah, type your question out. I'm looking at the chat as well. So yeah. Coming back to the schedule for the learnathons, we'd have iterated a number of times on perfecting this process, because we know a lot of you are looking for work. So it's like, how do we make sure that you're still coding and you're still building healthy coding practices, but yet still pushing code, yet still have time for, the interview process, throwing out resumes, or whether it's take home test, or having a life. So this is sort of goalposts. We highly recommend that by Saturday you have the project planning complete. And there's a number of coffee and code mentor sessions that we've allocated, and I'm going to actually go over how to best utilize these, and what types of questions to ask, and also how to make sure that you're best utilizing their time. So I'll leave that. I'm sure you guys have gone through it. All right, so I've gone through this a number of times, but the idea is presented by Mintbean, so you don't have to worry about the idea. We actually make it very clear on the Kanban board what the MVP piece is, and I'm sure a majority of you know what an MVP is, minimal viable product. So when you are building your application, the first thing that you should focus on is to make sure that your application does that. It doesn't need to look pretty. It doesn't need to have a UX pattern, but just make sure it does that thing that it's supposed to do really well. So nothing fancy, basic features. Think of it like building a house. You want to have your foundation, no walls, no doors, no rooms, no windows. That's what you want to start with. And also I would even, actually, I should probably reverse this. I feel like it should be idea, wireframe, and then MVP now that I think about it, because you want to start with the wireframe. And the framework that we like to use is, when you're using the wireframe, you don't need to use a fancy app. You don't need InDesign. You don't need Figma. You basically, as long as you have a piece of paper and a pen, just kind of make sure where everything should go, so that you just have a smoother time building your application. And of course, iterate. Bugs can cause the whole house to collapse. Make sure that your features, even having less features is okay, as long as they're well-made ones. And reviewing, sorry, let's go back. So before, one thing that I do want to mention is not every single bug needs to be fixed immediately. Think about time constraints, and maybe create reminders for yourselves to go back later. So focus maybe only on fixing bugs that would particularly impact a user. All right, so creating a landing page. So this is something that we recommend for the purpose of a non-technical person who's interacting with your portfolio. Landing pages in the marketing world are kind of sort of like how your user, like a buyer interacts with your site. Like it's a marketing ploy for your platform or your website. So this is your marketing ploy for your portfolio piece. So if somebody non-technical interacts with your portfolio piece, you want to give them a guide of how to use and interact with your application. Not only will it increase your chances of winning the hackathon, but it'll also increase your visibility in the job market when you share that portfolio piece on various different social platforms. I want to give you guys a couple of examples. A few weeks ago, we had done a CSS, build your own CSS framework. And because this was more of a technical project that wouldn't necessarily be a very visual project, I thought these groups had done a fantastic job in building a landing page. So sort of, it's kind of like, I personally think of landing pages for developers kind of like README docs. So that I thought this was a fantastic example, and even kind of goes into the storytelling piece of Chris, and also has a form of like where a potential employer can get in touch with him. I thought this was a really great touch. And there's some other examples as well. So, oh, and this site's not working. Maybe this one. So this one, I think someone had used out of the box, maybe a Wix site, which is completely fine. One thing that I would say is maybe also have a contact me form on it. But yeah, I think using out of the box solutions like Wix is completely fine for your portfolio pieces and your landing pages. Okay, great. So submission is done in 3 parts. The first part is definitely on the platform. You do have to be registered in order to submit your projects. And I also wanted to mention that instead of demo day, we have feedback day, where if you have submitted your project, we actually have slots for where you'll be able to not only demo your project, but get a senior developer to give you feedback on that project itself. So we go into the technical nitty gritties and actually tell you, you know, what you did well and ways of improvement. So this piece is actually quite important, posting on your LinkedIn. So this is the requirements of how you should do it. Blurb about the challenge, what technologies you use to build it, what you learned from building the project, include project links. We do recommend that you use Mintbean, tag us, use relevant hashtags, 1 to 3 minute video demoing. And I'm going to show you a couple of videos that I actually really like of individuals that use that piece really, really well. And if you're in a group, then please tag your group members. Last week we did puzzle games, and this video was just so good. I thought it was really well used of creativity, and I want to show you guys if you don't mind.
Welcome to Soca Wars. This game was created for Mintbean's JS Puzzler Hackathon. Inspired by Star Wars, we created an R2-D2 pushbox style game known as Socoban. It incorporates 10 unique levels using Phaser 3, Parcel, and React. To pass a level, R2 must place each colored crate on its corresponding target before he can move on to his next mission. If stuck, simply hit retry and play again. We loved learning about Phaser 3, customizing our own tile set and creating some fun CSS animations to enhance the user's gaming experience. We hope you enjoy, and may the force be with you.
Yes, I really liked how they did this, because they not only demoed the project really well, but they talked about the team. They talked about the technology that they used, and it was fun. Like, you actually wanted to. It was short. It wasn't like a 5-minute demo. You didn't get bored. They engaged you. It was really well done. And there's another example. I won't play it, but I want to drop it in the chat, and you guys can take a look at it at your own time. This is another great one. It's not as creative in terms of, but like it's still done really well. So I wanted to show you guys those 2 pieces. I know that there was somebody in the Discord channel last week said that not everybody is creating a demo video. So this is not going to affect your win, but this is sort of like, think about how people are interacting with your project piece, right? So if you're looking for work, you're going to have to advocate for yourself. So this is an advocation piece for your portfolio. What video editor? There's Loom, there's Vimeo, there's, sorry, you said editor. We use a paid one. We use Descript. Monarch, do you have any recommendations?
For a video editor or for a video capture tool?
I think Kent asked for an editor.
I guess an editor, just in case you want to edit some of your speech and some of the content that you're going to be showing. Thanks.
Yaz actually might have a better suggestion. I have no clue. For capture, Loom is good. For edit, I've only used QuickTime on Mac. Yaz says iMovie is a super simple editor on Mac, probably. There are a ton out there, and there are lots of free ones too. So I don't know of any good ones off the top of my head though for an
I'll
editor.
I'll make sure to get some recommendations from the team next time. So I'll make a note for myself. Get some recommendation tools. Cool. Okay.
Adobe has an online video maker apparently.
Is it free?
Yes.
Cool.
I don't know how good it is. Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Good question. All right. And the last but most important part is posting it on Discord, because it does allow everybody in the community to see your project, share, like inside their own network. It's really about that network effect of when you're especially looking for work, you want to talk about it as loud as you can and post it in different channels. Twitter is a fantastic place where developers breed, and LinkedIn is where recruiters live. But you can also use other platforms, kind of like Hashnode or Dev2 or any other platforms that you find it that you typically use, where maybe even Reddit. And winners are announced on Mondays at 12 everywhere, on our socials as well as the Discord channel. So where do I get support? They're the category of hackathon and workshops. Under the Code Mentor Help channel, you'll be able to tag all our code mentors. You can find a team if you're looking to hack with other people. We do allow up to 3 participants per learnathon. And all the activity of current event will be inside the current event channel. And we have a number of different coffee and code mentor hours. One thing that I would say is, if you are going to, let's say if you're going to today's mentor hour with Hector at 4, is to drop your questions ahead of time in the mentor channel. So if you go into Code Mentor Help, just sort of drop like, hey, I'm going to be joining the 4 p.m. Session. Here are some questions that I have for Hector. And then that way he'll be sort of like, he'll be like, maybe he'll research that question that you have in advance, and won't get stumped on the call if it's something that he doesn't know. And just if you can do that with some of the other code mentors, that certainly helps. And yeah, please do use those channels, because they're there waiting for you all. And we do vet our code mentors, so there's a whole application process that they go through. They're really there to support you. So yeah, definitely utilize them. I've seen from the past year that participants who tend to use the Code Mentor Hour tend to end up submitting a project. So just wanted to give you that little tidbit. That's it for me. Before I hop off, I did want to mention the 2 workshops that are happening this week. So Lukey, who's your lifelong career coach, he's going to be doing a workshop on LinkedIn, which is going to be interesting. And then we have Patrick, who is a software developer at the Good Food Institute. And he's going to talk about how can you use your tech career to do good. So they're both going to be a lot of fun. That's it for me, Monarch. Time to release the challenge.
All right. Challenge has been really, yeah, okay. Cool. All right. I think everybody can hear me. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I see nods. Perfect. Thank you. Cool. So I created today's challenge to be very easy, like all of the other challenges, to be super easy for beginners, but also open-ended, so that if you are at an advanced level, or if you finished early, then you can continue building on top of it. A little bit about me. I'm the other co-founder of Mintbean. I'm also Navi's husband, as she mentioned before, and I have been a JavaScript developer for my entire career, almost 10 years long. And I've done React, Angular, Vue. I've done older funky stuff like EXTJS and Backbone as well. I've done a lot of Java in my life, and a bit of Rails as well, a couple of years of Rails. And Navi and I put together Mintbean so that we can help software developers like yourself break into the industry. I'm self-taught. Navi is a bootcamp grad, and we get how difficult it is to break into the industry. So we built Mintbean as a free resource so that I can provide mentorship on the tech side, and Navi can provide mentorship on the career side for free to developers. And today's hackathon is going to build up your definitely your styling skills and definitely your event handling and state management skills for sure. Your animation skills could also be tested depending on which way you go. I'm going to show you guys how to access the hackathon Kanban. Let me share my screen and we can start walking through the challenge. So when you go to Meets, you can go down to Web Dev Learnathon number 84, and you can click on Participate. And in here, you can see the Kanban. If you go to the Kanban tab on the left. Now, you are going to have to register. So I clicked register before, so it says attending. And then when you go to Kanban, you can click unlock my Kanban guide. It'll be a button right here when you click Kanban for the first time. And you'll have access to this Kanban board as soon as you visit the screen. So we have a few different cards. I'll go down. You can read all of the cards. There's a lot of really helpful information on here. But the main cards are web framework all the way down to tricks to make your game fun. And I'll walk through those with you right now. So if you want to build an escape room, let's take a look at examples of escape room games. I really liked this example. This is on DevTO or Dev2, as some people call it. It's an escape room built just in CSS, which to me just blows my mind. And I really need to learn how to do this stuff someday. Find your way out, click on any object to interact with them. Look for clues, move the objects, then click the open door. I'm gonna click, and here I am. I'm on stage 1, and I see a vase, I see a lamp, carpet, there's a clock, and there's a door. And when I hover over the door, the frame kind of seems to want me to click on it. I'm gonna click on it, and it opens. And I click on the door again, boom, I'm on stage 2. That was easy. Now I can't click on the door anymore, which is sad. So I'm gonna hover over the rest of the room, and oh, the carpet. There's something under the carpet. Click. Oh, there's a key. Click the key, click on the door, boom, I'm in stage 3. All right, now this is different. There's no door in stage 3, but I can go between 2 rooms by pressing the right and left arrow keys here. Now, if I go to the room over here, this is more familiar, and there's something under here. There's a key. I take the key, but I can't click on the door just yet, which is kind of weird. And I can't click on anything over here, so I'm going to go back. Oh, the cupboard is highlighted now. So I guess the key opens the cupboard. And then I find another key. I'm thinking that this might be the door key, and I go through the door. And so on and so forth. So as you can see, it's a lot of fun playing these games, and you can make these games super complex using the same components over and over again. Here's scissors. I wonder what I can do with the scissors now. And I'll go here. I guess I can cut the curtains with the scissors. Why I would want to cut them, I have no clue. And then I take the key, I go back, and now I can go through the door, and so on and so forth. And as you can see, this person has built an entire game. Apparently, they built it with just CSS, which is crazy. But it is super simple. And because the Learnathon is a week long, this is a relatively simple game to build. If you think about how you can structure this, forget CSS. You don't have to build all of this in CSS. If you think about how this is structured from a JavaScript perspective, because all programming languages are basically the same, there are a bunch of different variables, and there are a bunch of different components here. So one variable could be has main door key. Another component could be has key to cupboard. That could be another variable that's sitting somewhere in your JavaScript. And depending on the state of those variables, I can or cannot open these different doors and cupboards. So you can start thinking about this as almost like either a React app or a vanilla JS app, or you could even build this using templated HTML if you really wanted to, using a full stack MVC, framework like Django. Um, these are beautiful components laid out very sparsely. There are a lot of components, but they're sparse. It's more of an illusion, really. It's the illusion of complexity in order to bring the player into a world that feels like it's real. But from a development perspective, it's not really super complex. From a development perspective, they're very simple components, click handlers, and a state somewhere in here that's being updated with the variables are being updated, and based on the variables you either activate a hover effect or you don't activate a hover effect, entirely based on the state variables. So it's relatively simple. There's another way to do it too, which is this one. I actually really like this one. Here's another escape room. And this escape room is a top-down map, kind of like an old Nintendo game or Atari game. And I will walk over to the door. The door is locked. And I'm going to go, it says I can feel a breeze. Not sure why, but I can see that there's different places here. Here's a fireplace. The fire looks hot enough to cook something in. And this thing is a box. It's something, I need something to help me open it. So let's see if I can find something to help me open it, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but you guys get what I mean when I say that it's relatively simple. So the key fits, I have a crowbar. So now I have a crowbar, I can go and I can bash open the box. I open the box, now there's food. And it gives me a hint. It says, if I cook the food, then the dog will eat it. And I already know there's a fireplace. So I go over to the fireplace, I touch it. The fire looks hot enough to cook. And I now put the meat in it. So maybe the dog is going to go eat it. And then I'll go over to the dog. The dog seems to be guarding something shiny. And the dog had the door key. And now I have the door key, so I can actually leave if I want. And the key opens the door. And here's the creator. He's saying, thanks for playing my escape room. And now I can leave. And that's the end. So that's a very simple little escape room game. This could be built using Phaser.js. I wouldn't be surprised if the creator built it using Phaser.js. So I'm sure you guys have a bunch of ideas right now about how to build it. You can take a look at the other Kanban cards and explore this Kanban board. I've left a lot of clues in here. For example, tricks to make your game fun. So here are some features of good escape room games that I've played in the past. So it's very clear from the start that you need to escape the room in order to win. Clickable areas are easily found. So when you hover over something, the mouse cursor turns into a pointer. If there are any dangerous things, like let's say a bomb in the game, then you give advance warning, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot in the Kanban board that can help you guys out. So I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun going through this. There are coffee and code hours, so basically code mentor hours on multiple days of this and next week. So keep an eye out for that schedule. I believe the schedule will be inside the details tab. So you can take a look at the entire schedule inside the details tab of the event. And you can see that demo day, also known as feedback day, is on Thursday of next week. On feedback day, after you finish the hackathon, feedback day is going to be a way for you to get immediate technical and non-technical feedback on your project. As always, we give you career advice mixed with technical advice. So we'll tell you what you did good, how you could structure your code. It's lightning feedback that you'll get immediately from myself and maybe an experienced developer on my team. And you'll also get career advice about how to spruce up your project to make it more appealing to recruiters and hiring managers. So it's really valuable stuff. And all of this stuff is being given to you guys for free. So there's a limit to how much time we can give you in feedback day. So it's first come, first serve. We give about 2 minutes for demo and then 3 minutes for feedback. And then we move on to the next person. It's first come, first serve. So make sure that you show up early and you drop links to your project on feedback day as soon as possible. If you want more time for me and my team, then we've started a new initiative called the Dev Collective. And the Dev Collective, as Navi mentioned before, it's a way for us to give you multiple touch points a week in order to help you find that first job. We took in 8 developers in the alpha version, and 4 of them got jobs within a month. Well, a little bit more than a month, within 5 weeks of getting into the collective. Most of them had been looking for between 6 and 12 months. So they'd been out of boot camp for 6 to 12 months, or they'd been self-teaching for 6 to 12 months. And we managed to get 4 of them jobs within 5 weeks. So the program works. And we do have scholarships for people who need it. So if you can show that you have a financial need, or if you're coming from a historically oppressed minority background, or if you've been looking for a very, very long time, like if you've been looking for more than 6 months, please reach out to us. There are discounts. You can go to devcollective.io and you can take a look at the Dev Collective websites. There is a bunch of information about it over there, including pricing and how it works. I promise you this will be an amazing experience for anybody who's interested. If you are interested, you can click on the contact button after taking a look at everything. If it's right for you, just send us an email at hello@devcollective.io, or you can click on the application to apply to the Dev Collective and apply over here. Either which way, whether you send us an email or you fill out the form, we'll get back in touch with you, and we'll continue the conversation and see if we'll collectively see if the DC is right for you or not. That's all I got. Do you guys have any questions about any of the information presented over here before we get started? Oh, somebody said kind of looks like a Game Boy Pokemon game. Yeah, it kind of did look like a Game Boy Pokemon game. Escape Room was really interesting. Any other questions about the challenge? Going once, going twice. I think y'all are raring to go. If you guys have, if you guys want to join a team, make sure you're on the Discord. Oh, make sure you're on the Discord. The Discord is where everything happens. If you're not on the Discord, you're not really participating. So make sure you guys are in the Discord. If you want a link, it's on mintbean.io. Go to the bottom left. It says join our Discord. You can find it there. And if there's anything that we can do, drop questions in the Discord channel. And if you're looking for teammates, there's a find a team channel in the Discord that you can find a team in. That's pretty much it for me, Navi. I don't think we have any questions today.
No questions? Wow, like that's amazing.
Either we did a really good job or a really bad one. So I guess we'll find out. Is anybody nervous about the hackathon? Anybody nervous about it? Maria's nervous about it. Okay. Anybody else nervous about it? Emzad's got cool glasses on. I don't think he's worried about it. Okay. Anybody want tips? Anybody want tips? Okay. Maria wants tips. All right. Tip number 1: start easy. I would say start easy. Lots of people are new. Okay. Who's new? All right, I know Maria's new. Yeah, okay, there we go. Anybody else who's new? 1, 2. Matt is second time. Matt, I hope you submit. Yeah, you said hoping to submit this week. Hope you submit too, man. I'm pretty sure you will. Harshal's new. Christian's new. New. Peter's asking, define new. Opposite of old. Have you ever been to Mintbean before? Have you ever done a hackathon before? Are you new to JavaScript programming? Something like that. Okay, cool. I would advise if you're new and you're solo, then new means younger than Monarch. LOL. Yeah, I'm not that old, man. Maybe I'm a little old. I'm getting there.
He's got plenty of white hair, Jen. There's lots of it.
I started getting white hair when I was 21. All right. Okay, so start easy, super easy. Build a square, add a door, and when you click on the door, you win. Like that's the definition of easy. When you win, you show a splash screen, say, "Oh, we won," and then you have a retry button on the bottom right. That's an easy win. Like that's what I mean by easy. once you have a super basic box with a door and you click on it and you win, try putting a key somewhere. And when you click on the key, then you can click on the door and then you win. So that's level 2 of complexity. Then see if you can put the key inside a cupboard. So the cupboard, when you click on the cupboard, it opens, then you grab the key, then you open the door, and so on and so forth. So keep trying to build your game incrementally in phases. Now, what's the definition of a phase? A phase is a streak of development where the start state is something that works and the end state is something that works. So go from working code to working code to working code, so that at any point in time, if I ask you, hey, if the hackathon ends early, you don't have a broken project, you have at least a basic working project at every single point, after your first couple of days, of course. So try and build code incrementally. Don't look at code as, concrete and bricks and wood. You're not building a house. Code doesn't get built. Code actually grows, and you grow it kind of like a bonsai. It's weird. I know it's a weird analogy, but the code almost has a life of its own, and your job is to guide it in the right direction. And towards the right goal. So don't look at it as, oh yeah, I have a blueprint and I have to first build a kitchen, then the bathroom. Then no, first you build the kitchen, and then the bathroom grows out of the kitchen, and then the living room grows out of the kitchen and the bathroom, and you use some of the same stuff again. So it's like it's more organic than building a house. So start simple and start building features on top of older features instead of trying to build. There's this beautiful image. I got to show you guys this image. Lean development scooter versus car. If you guys haven't seen it before, I know that it's super popular in schools. Here we go. So don't build your code like you're building the car. So don't make a wheel, then two wheels and a chassis, then a body, then end. That's not how you code. How you code is you build a skateboard, which already is something that you can move around town with. Maybe you'll fall and break your head. I don't know. I fell and had an ankle injury when I was a kid, so I'm kind of biased against skateboards. But they're really cool, and I'm really jealous of people who can ollie. But then you can add a scooter handle, and now you have a little scooter, and it's a little safer, and Monarch can ride it. Then you add a bicycle frame, and now you have a bicycle. But notice that every single step evolves more features. It's almost like the evolution of an organism over millions of years. It's kind of like that. It's not this. It's not a blueprint. It's more organic growth. So start with something super minimum. A door that you click and win, that's great. That's your minimum viable product. Then you add more features, and you keep adding little features in an organic way. So that's probably the biggest tip I can give. The second tip I can give is make sure you know where you're going roughly. So if you decide that you want to build a horror escape game where Dracula is sitting in a corner somewhere ready to eat you, then make sure you decide that early on and you have the key elements of your escape room built out. Because if you don't have the key elements of your escape room not built out, the key elements of your escape room decided as a group, or at least in your own head, if you're doing this solo. Um, so at least you know that you're gonna have these things that you can build towards those things. So it's almost like um, you know you're evolving towards a full product that you generally have the idea of, but don't 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 blueprint it, unless you have a UX designer and somebody who has a Figma background. If somebody has a Figma background and they know how to use Figma, that's a great way to blueprint it and build it. It's just that the problem with that approach is you have to be really good at estimation. So not only do you need somebody who's good at Figma and wireframing, but then you also need somebody who's good at estimation and knows what's achievable in a week. So I, I would recommend don't do the Figma route unless you have estimation and design skills. If you don't have estimation and design skills, build a skateboard, then a scooter, then a bicycle, then a motorbike, then a car. So take the bottom approach. Other tips: use a framework. or you can, this one's actually vanilla JS friendly. You could do it in vanilla. Phaser will give you polish, so you can use Phaser. Use the Code Mentor hours. Don't forget to use Code Mentor hours. Deploy early. You do have to deploy the application, so deploy it early. Make sure that it's somewhere on the web where other people can access it. If you, oh, the most important thing, totally forgot. If you don't finish, if this is your first time, do not freak out. That's normal. 80% of people do not submit the first time they do the learnathons, and that's totally to be expected. They come back, and the second time they do the hackathon, they submit for the first time in their second learnathon. Usually we have learnathons every Friday. They kick off every Friday. We won't have a learnathon next Friday because there's Good Friday, so we're going to take a week off. We'll be back in a couple of weeks with another learnathon. I believe it's going to be the job board. Yaz, I'm not sure if you published it. I noticed it wasn't published earlier on. So if you get a second, do me a favor. Can you just publish the meet so that I can go in and show everyone next week's learnathon? While that's happening. Any other tips? Any questions? Let's see if we have any questions. If only houses could be grown. I played a video game where you crash land on an alien planet and they were growing houses out of trees. It was kind of cool. Not all except JavaScript have experience. Underestimated the deployment problems. Yeah, Matt, classic way to screw up. And that's totally fine. Screwing up is part of learning and growing. Failure, you can't learn without failure. So Mintbean is a safe place to fail. You're gonna fail here 100 times so that you don't fail in the workplace. Do you have a preferred editor? Thanks, yes. I'll just refresh. Do you have a preferred editor for JavaScript? I like VS Code. I personally prefer VS Code. Not sure about everyone else. Oh, here it is. Maybe I just missed it before. I don't know what happened. Maybe I just didn't see it before. But how to code a job board. This is the next learnathon that's coming up, and we're going to be learning. This one's a bit more web devy. I know today is more of a game. The next one that starts on Friday, April 9th is building a job board. Hi, Navi.
You're not sharing your screen.
Oh, no. All right. Okay, so here's the next learnathon, not the coming Friday. Next Friday, after the coming Friday, we're going to be building a job board using probably React and Vue and whatnot. So this is going to be way more web development friendly. And this is obviously, we're going to take a break from the games and go back into web development. There will be probably 3 different web development learnathons coming up. And then we'll have another game learnathon in a few weeks, probably at the end of April. Yep, April 30th will be another game hackathon. But before then, we have how to code a job board. And then we also have, let's see, I'll just go through here. So we have how to code a job board. We have how to code a chat room app also coming up in April. So you'll learn how to use WebSockets over here in order to build a chat room app. And of course, all of the beginning instructions will be provided to you. It's a semi-structured, semi-guided hackathon. The beginning is provided to you, and we give you, sometimes we give you a starter pack to get you started. It's open-ended towards the end so that you can express your creativity. So it's easy to learn and easy to get started, hard to master and hard to win. And that's what a safe place should feel like, is it's totally fine to lose. We give you a safe way to start. This is way better than tutorial hell and doing Udemy tutorial. I love Udemy, but doing Udemy tutorials can get you nowhere fast if you're not careful. A little goes a long way with Udemy. We're designed to be a supplement to your coding practice. So if Udemy is salt, then we're meat and potatoes. Come here over and over again, and this can be a healthy part of a daily coding practice if you so choose. If you don't want to do the learnathons, we have tons of workshops. We have the Discord community, which I hope you guys are a part of. And if you're not, you can join on the bottom left of every screen on the Mintbean platform. That's about all I got. I'm gonna hand it back to Navi, and yeah.
Cool, thanks. All right, guys. I think this is it for the prompt. let's head over to Discord voice channels. I see that you have Imsad has the cool glasses. I love that. That's super awesome. Let's head over to the voice channels on Discord. I think this is it for the session.